Okay, hi everyone. This is a little thing I wanted to do, but please can you first tell me if you can hear me alright? Okay. To explain what I'll be doing today, this is a little bit of a random stream. Hi, jazz hands. Um, the thing I've been working with for some time lately is text editing. I know that this can be a little bit less exciting than drawing and painting for you, but hear me out. I think we all need a little bit of a break and a weird hobby now that we are kind of confined to our apartments most of the time. So I wanted to share with you what I have been playing with for the last 2-3 weeks. Okay, so if you have been reading my blog or my website, you know that I have been kind of fascinated with devices for typing without distraction. So, not distraction. Not destroy things, but to be distracted. So far I have been using my iPad with just the regular app or using Scrivener for typing, and usually I use my Bluetooth keyboard with this, but this is kind of boring, and so I wanted to look for something that I could use for typing especially when I'm outside. This is a bit of a joke really, but I wanted to look for something that I could use for typing when I'm outside and just look cool and feel cool and have some fun with it. So let's I have 3 devices today to show you. 1, 2, 3, and you can ask questions and you can just chat with me. I have you on my chat, so I hope you all are well, and just I offer you some distraction. I have a problem with pronunciation of this word. Okay, so the first device that I would like to show you is this one. This is the first one I bought actually. Don't mind the stickers because these are actually ones that I applied to it. When I bought it, it was as a junk thing because it was not working, and it was advertised as just something that you buy for fun and if you know what you are doing. So I bought it to see if I can type with this outside and just take it to a park or to a cafe and just have some fun with typing on this. And this is a small device made in 1997, so I was 9 I think, or 11 at that time. I'm not so good at counting so much, and this was advertised as a kind of data manager. Hi, you can see my face. But also it has Pocket Word and Pocket Excel and some mail applications and some other stuff, and you could also install applications on it, other ones. And the best part about this is that it runs on just regular batteries. So if you open this compartment here, you have just regular batteries, so you don't have to worry that the batteries that were made 20 years ago or something will go bad. It has an infrared port so you can beam your data to other portable devices on your computer with Windows 95 or something. It has a backup battery here under this cover. Focus. It has a backup battery here, kind of an expansion port here, which I don't use because I don't have anything to put it. A charger port here. Here is the most important thing: is you can put memory cards in it. So if you put a huge card like this one, which has 8 megabytes, for example, you can use this to transfer your files to your computer and also back to this device. So this is really important in buying like old devices like this, so you have a way to just transfer any data. And you have an alarm button here, some LEDs that show you that your alarm is off, and a pen, because this is a touchscreen device, which is really interesting. And lastly, here you have slot for something that's called PC cards. This is just a dummy. I'll show you a real one later. And this can be also used to put memory cards and modems and all kinds of stuff inside. So, こんにちは。これが全部日本の機器になるなので、ちょっと面白いかなと思います。These all devices, by the way, are Japanese because I can just buy stuff that's available on Japanese like auction websites and stuff like that. So, and what do we have inside? Inside we have a screen, which is a touch screen. I'm trying not to make too much reflections. And a keyboard with a light feature. So just let's turn it on and see what it does. So let's zoom in a bit. Okay, so this is how the screen looks like. You can turn on the light on this, but you probably cannot see the difference. It has a speaker here, which allows for some small sounds when you type, and a mic here, which is also nice. And you can actually take the pen out and select text or scroll. And I was surprised how not laggy at all this behaves. For 1997, this is really smooth, I think. And of course you can write in Japanese because this is mainly a Japanese device, but also you can switch the typing method to English and just type some words on it. And the screen is actually pretty sharp. Because this is a pixel font, so the letters are rather sharp. Actually, you need to be in a well-lit environment to see it. If I was to compare it to a modern screen, I can show you that this is my Kindle. It's a bit dirty, but whatever. So this is a book on a Kindle, and you can see the difference in these screens. So you really have to be in a well-lit space to be able to see it clearly, but it's kind of cool. And if you are outside or in a well-lit cafe or whatever, you can just use it for doing some typing. And this is a Casio, and this is a Cassiopeia or Cassiopeia. And this is a model that was released in Japan. So yeah, and to show you how you type on this, I'll put my mic here closer. Because it makes some nice sounds. Okay. I have it for I think a month and a half, and you see I wanted to write this is a test on of typing on this small keyboard, and you can see the result. So even though this device is really cute and it has a full Windows CE kind of thing, so you have some applications, typing on this is really difficult actually. So it a bit defeats the purpose why I bought it in the first place, but it's kind of cute and I like it, so that's a good thing. But typing on this is really difficult, but the sound that the keyboard makes when you type is just so cute. And also the sound when you try to for example close a file and it wants to ask you something is just perfect. Listen to this. I mean, it sounds like I don't know, Pokemon game from 1990s or whatever. So yeah. So this is one device that I wanted to show you. No, it doesn't have an audio jack from what I know. There is a jack kind of thing here on the back, but this is actually used to connect a camera that Casio made, so you can probably make like really grainy black and white pictures and send them through here, but this is not an audio jack, sadly. The later version had it, but I guess this is the first version that ever came out with the Japanese language and everything. So the Windows version on this is 1.0.1, so it's the first version with only the Japanese update, so it supports the Japanese input. And just to end about this one, no, I don't want to save this file. I just want to show you the speed in which it shows the desktop. So I can open it and then it shows the icons, yes, and we can see Pocket Microsoft Word here. And I actually managed to copy the sounds from this using the CF card to my Mac, but they don't sound so nice on the... Okay, I'll make the music. Okay, should be better. Okay, should be better. So I managed to copy the sounds on my Mac onto my Mac, but they don't sound so nice when you play them on big speakers. It has to be used on a small device like this, I guess. Okay. So this is a Cassiopeia A51. It cannot play Doom. It cannot play anything, I guess. It has Solitaire on it, so yeah, it can play Solitaire. Okay, so the second device that I wanted to show you today is this thing. I have to zoom out a bit to show it to you, I guess. And this is a modern device. This was made in 2000, I think in 17 or something like that. But they ceased making it like last year, I think. So I was able to buy some one of the really last ones. They had two colors, but now it was only like this one, and they don't sell it anymore. So what this is a thing that's called a Pomera. And from the outside looks like this. It has also a battery cover here, so you have you can put like two batteries. The backup battery is under here. You have just a regular SD card that you can use, And there's also USB to put files to your computer, and you can also charge this device through this, so you don't use batteries while you are while you connect the USB. And it opens like this and like this. So as soon as you open it, it turns on, and this is actually an e-ink display, so the same type of displays that you have on your Kindle, which actually is really good for a device like this, but because it doesn't use so much batteries and it's high resolution, you can see it in any environment. It's not backlit, but that's not a problem. The only thing is that it requires a bit of time to refresh. So if I start typing here, you can see that the letters kind of lag a little bit behind my typing. So it requires a little bit of time to refresh the screen. And if you see closer, there is actually a bit of kind of ghost image of the letters that were there before, and you can clear that up just refreshing the whole screen at once. So if I type something again and make some enter marks, you can see that the text is here, and you can refresh the screen. But it is a bit painful because especially if you are editing and not writing, because even though the device is kind of fast, it seems slow because it takes a lot of time for the cursor to go places, and the screen is not touch responsive. So even if you want to go somewhere really fast and just I don't know, delete a mark or whatever, it takes a bit of a time to reach the place. So for example, okay, so the screen is kind of laggy, but yeah. I mean, I am not a touch typist. I cannot touch type. So even though the lag is quite significant, I don't see it because I look at the keyboard when I write. So it doesn't bother me so much. But it does bother me when I try to edit a text on this. So most of the times I just type stuff on it to have a distraction-free environment. But then I put the text via the SD card or USB to my computer or my iPad, so I can edit it on using tools like Grammarly or just in Scrivener. This is just a usual USB type, the small USB, the micro, I think. So it's not C, sadly. But yeah, it's kind of plasticky but solid, and the keyboard, when you flip it, it doesn't move, so it's really stable. It kind of feels heavy in the hand. The display is really easy on the eyes, so you can make the font bigger and smaller, and you have a menu here which allows you to copy paste and do stuff, but the shortcuts are the same on the computer, on the computer. And yeah, you can, for example, inverse the screen, so you can make everything white on black, which is also kind of useful, and you can change the size of the font and do other stuff. The minus of this thing is that this is mostly aimed at Japanese writers. So the English font that is here is a bit because you have stuff like, let me zoom in. if you do, I wanted to touch the screen. If you do like something like this, you can see there's like, this is a monospace font, so you have a lot of like space in those places, and the text you write looks a bit not as clean as on modern kind of iPads or whatever, which has nice fonts, and everything is nicely spaced, and you have choice. You can choose a font. Here you can choose only the size of the font. And but for example, a really nice feature that it has is that you can do a title with the hashtags or dots, like title, and then you can go to the menu, and you can display the outline of the document, and here on the left side you will have an outline of the document, and you can alt tab to the outline and move from title to title. So it's nice to write longer documents also, because it makes the navigation a little bit more responsive. So if you have a longer document with some titles, yeah, I can type in Japanese, then it's nice for navigation. Okay, let's switch it to Japanese. I'll zoom out a bit so you can see. Yes, I'm writing at a really weird angle, so it has wait, how do I do this? It has a system that's called Atok Professional, which replaces the letters that you type with kanji quite efficiently, I'm said. You just press like this, and the amount of words that it has registered and the efficiency of the dictionary it uses for the conversion is really good. But I'm not a really fast Japanese writer, so I would have to ask Kana to write something in Japanese, so you can see the speed. Okay, so this is this device. It's a new device, relatively. This model is not made anymore, but they are still making a model that has LCD display and is more kind of modern, and you even can install Linux on it if you want other software options and stuff, but that would kind of defeat the purpose for me, because I don't want to have anything here, but I want to have a nice writing experience, and for it to be kind of interesting. And yeah, I can put some nice stickers on it, so when I go outside and just open it, I have a for example Ghibli logo on it. So yeah, so that's the second one. 2. And now for the most interesting, I think, from the whole thing. It's something new. I mean, it's something old, but it's new. Okay. So this is something that I didn't know existed, because this is called a word processor. In Poland, we didn't have things like this. At least I didn't know about ones. I knew about electric typewriters, where you typed and the stuff that you typed was printed by a printer here, but I didn't know that things like this existed, and this was quite popular in Japan. This is a word processor that was used for making documents, making documents for print. So if you wanted to make a document and just print it out, you would use a word processor like this, but usually these were bigger devices which had a floppy disk drive here and a printer attached to the back permanently. So you just type stuff on the keyboard, save it, and just edit it or whatever. And then when you are ready, just press print, and it prints from the backside of this device. And these are really big and heavy and not portable at all. But I discovered that the NEC company made this model, which is called AR. Let me zoom out a bit. CA2000T AR data, and this is a portable model where the floppy drive and the printer were attached here. So you have two ports here that were used to attach the floppy drive and the printer, so the device itself is really compact. Let me put this back inside. Okay, so here you have 4 AA batteries, with just regular batteries. As with all the devices, there is a backup battery, so here is the backup battery. And what else does it have? Here's the charger port. Let me focus. Here's the charger port, and this model, which is quite rare actually, has a PC card slot in which we can put a PC card looking like this. Originally it was used mostly for modem cards and stuff like that, but you can use it also for compact flash card, and this has a whopping 32 megabytes card inside. Okay, and you put it like this, and it has also a LED here for your alerts, because it not only does text editing, and I'll show you in a minute. Okay, this has a bigger screen a lot than the Cassiopeia, and even than the Pomera. It's actually double the size, because this is full VGA, you say, like resolution, so it's 480 points. And yeah, the screen is actually, there is a contrast knob here that you adjust the contrast, and the screen is actually really nice. For the time the device was made, the screen, I think, is really sharp and bright. You can adjust the contrast like this, and as you can see, the letters are nicely sharp, and it can be used in just any lighting, I guess. It doesn't have a backlight, but well, it's not meant to be used in the dark. So and this device is mostly made for typing documents that are meant to be printed, and it's really meant for typing in Japanese. So actually convincing it to just be responsive and to write only in English was a bit of a challenge actually. There is a lot of additional buttons here on the keyboard that are just used for typing Japanese, like the conversion buttons to convert the letters that you type to kanji, and choosing the type of letters that you want to use, and there are shifts here, and the space is only like this small here. The letters are really like weirdly spaced, and all the buttons are in weird places. Like here are the cursor keys, and the backspace is this small little knob here, and here's a tab. So the whole thing is really actually weird, but once you get to know how to operate it, it actually is quite nice to type on, and it's fast and responsive, and the screen is big and allows for you can see more on it at once. Okay, so let me type something so you can see how it works. It's kind of hard to film it because it's a bit bigger. Okay. And usually when you type something, it uses the Japanese format for letters, so the big letters uh, that are the same size as Japanese kanji. But you can also make it use the standard format. And I actually made a spell mistake here. Because again, I'm not a really good typist. Okay, so and this file can be later saved, and you can put it into your computer. It uses the Shift JIS really weird file format, but these are only text files, so it's not so hard to get the text out of this actually. And you can also of course type in Japanese, and you can make all kinds of crazy stuff with this, because it mostly is for making documents. So if you enter into some like format settings, screens, and so on and so on, you have a lot of settings that you can modify for making the document look well on a page. So you can choose the format of the page, like A4 or B4 or whatever, and choose spacing and how to use what font are you using, and all kinds of stuff. And then you can like preview the file that you wrote and how it will look like after you printed it. So this is this kind of device that is my latest addition to my collection, and I guess I'll be using it for typing some blog posts and so on and so on, because I can actually move the text between this one and the Cassiopeia and the Pomera in my computer, because you can just use an SD card also on this, but it has to be a really small SD card, so like 32 megabytes or 128 megabytes, because it doesn't work with anything bigger, but it can be done. So this is actually a great advantage of this device, because other word processors only use like proprietary flash cards or like floppy disks, so you cannot do anything with it. なんか日本語書いてみる？ポメラで。Kana came here, so she will show you how to type some Japanese text on the Pomera. なんか僕がすごく遅い。I'm really slow at this, so she will be a bit quicker. So let's outline をオフして、で、new file. Okay, I'll put a new file. Okay. No. Okay, so なんか日本語書いてみて。日本語になってね。これかな？こんにちは。So for those of you who don't know how to type Japanese, she types letters in Roman alphabet that get automatically converted to this kind of standard phonetic alphabet, and then when she presses space or enter, it gets converted to kanji if there's any kanji on the way that can be. And you can choose which kanji and which conversion do you want when there are more combinations of letters that have this reading. So this is the standard way that most Japanese write right now. They don't use the small like letters that are on the Japanese keyboards, but they use the typing method that's similar to what we usually do in English or Polish or whatever, and then um, just convert what they type live into this Japanese kanji characters. And I can do it too, but I'm kind of slow. Kana is faster a lot than what I can do on Japanese keyboard.
I study typing at in game.
Game で、she typed a lot in games when she was a kid, so yeah. So okay, the last thing I wanted to show you, which is kind of interesting, is going back to this one. It does not only have the word processor app that is here, but if you quit this app and you can go outside of this. Can I? It takes a bit of time. I don't know. I don't want to save this. No. Save. Okay. You can actually go to a menu like this, and most of the word processors had some additional applications. Right. For example, here it has a calendar. Here's the calendar scheduler. It has an electronic email application. You could actually use this to connect to the internet via your cell phone or like payphone and send emails. You can also check the schedule of trains, which is really interesting because you type in the stations and it shows you where you have to like switch trains or stuff. The database is of course from 1997. And there is of course also a graph editor, and you could put actually the graphs in your documents. And there's also a kind of Excel application, and there's also like a word bank and dictionary that you could use to check your words and stuff. So if you had this with you, you could actually type some memos in your meeting and then put some stuff in your schedule, because you can actually launch the word processing program, and then while doing it you can put like a calculator app on your screen or get into your calendar while still having that writing application on the screen. So this is actually quite nice for 1997 when this was launched, and it has a lot of functionality that I was not expecting from this. I will not be using this to keep my calendar or schedule. That would be a bit of overkill, I guess. But yeah, especially that you cannot like take the data out. So and this was only there were only two models of this device, for the 2000, which has the option of taking the data out of this via the cards, and one that didn't had it, which was this 1000 model. And later they quit making it because everyone started to have laptops and all kinds of just personal computers that they could take with them in places. So but in Japan, actually, this form factor kind of survived, because for years and years in Japan, things like this were popular. Don't mind the stuff here, because this is an electronic dictionary, which is really, really, really useful, actually. And I didn't know about these. I knew about this only when I came to Japan. I used one which was really older than this one, but it has a similar form factor to this like writing device in palm top computers or whatever. And this is a modern device. You can buy it right now, and there has a lot of versions that you can buy, and Casio and all kinds of companies made these. And you cannot write with this, which is a shame. The keyboard is really clunky, actually. It's not really well to write on. But the thing that it can do is to show you definitions of words, and actually has a lot of really nice dictionaries inside that would take like a lot of space in your bag or whatever. And I use it because it not only has like Japanese English and English Japanese, but also has English English dictionaries. So when I write something and I want to check a thesaurus or whatever, I can just check stuff in the English dictionary, and it has the Oxford English dictionaries inside, and it's perfect for me for writing and checking uh, stuff. And you can buy these with various versions. Some are just for students, some are just for like middle school students or whatever, but you can buy also the professional version, which has a lot more really good dictionaries that on their own would be kind of expensive. So, and you can actually buy them second hand. This one I bought new, but I also have this one which I use also, and this I bought second hand. It's like a smaller one, and this is made by who made it? Sharp, no, Seiko. Sorry, this is made by Seiko, and it also has like English dictionary. So I bought it second hand, and you can use it to check stuff on the go. And some of them also have like pronunciation and like backlit screens, and you can also put a card inside, which has some additional like dictionaries. So here I have a really weird looking SD card thingy that contains English to French and French to English dictionary, so that's also nice to have. All the way around? Yeah. So it has a similar kind of form factor. Now, actually, almost no new devices like these are out. The only thing that I can mention is the Pomera, which is still there a bit, but they cancelled this one, and I don't know how much longer the bigger version will last. There is a device like for distractionless writing from the US, like two types, but they're kind of expensive. So now I'll just tell you the prices. The dictionary, it depends on what dictionaries you want to have inside, so you have to check yourself, but I bought this for $20 using an online auction. So yeah, this one also was like I think $10 or $15 on an auction site. I bought this for I think also $20 or something in a used electronics store. And this one was the most expensive because it originally costed the cost was I think like 4 man, so $400 for this one. But when I bought it, because it was already discontinued, I bought it for like $120 or whatever. But because this is a modern new device that has it was made till recent, so it's a bit more expensive. But yeah, you can get a really set of really interesting like retro devices for almost nothing on the internet, and I'm still looking at them, and they are not only fun to be used as writing devices, but also just to explore what the hell is this and how do you use it, because the knowledge from the internet is kind of disappearing, and the sites that explained how to use these are disappearing, and you cannot get any help or whatever. So to figure out this one, I spent one day just painstakingly translating everything and all the menus and options in here just to know how to do stuff on it. So I'm still experimenting. I want to find an SD card that will work in this one, so I can just put the data into my computer without a converter. So I still have to do some work on this, but I like typing on this one. It's weird, but it's weird in the nice way that makes you want to go. And of course we have to not go. We cannot go anywhere right now. But when the lockdown kind of thing is over, I want to take this to a park or to a cafe or whatever and write a blog post on this one. I'll still be writing the story and the novel kind of thing that I'm working on right now on my iPad, probably using the Scrivener app, which is really brilliant. But for writing shorter and fun things, just having a bit of a weird retro fun, I think these are really interesting devices. This is also is a nice option. Okay, I think that's it for this like weird stream thing. I hope you had a bit of fun watching these weird devices come back from the past. I actually made an article about these two on my website and on my blog, so you can read more about these, and I'll be writing one about this probably today. So you will be able to see more about, read more about these devices, and yeah, on my blog. So okay, thank you for joining me today on this weird little thing. I'm getting back to cleaning the apartment and doing kind of chores because I don't feel like working today. But please stay safe, and I'll see you in my next videos and my next like streams. Okay, thank you for joining me. Bye.